What's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to go over the 4-2-2 custom tactic and instruction, an attacking formation that you can use from the first minute that is very effective and has a defensive stability that the 4-2-2 has, that a 4-4-2 does not. Before I get on to that, I just want to say a quick word from someone I'm collaborating with, Gamers Academy. This year I am running exclusively all my group coachings with them on their platform, and currently they're running a free deal where they have a 7-day free trial. So if you click on a link down below in the description or in a pinned comment, you'll get a link, and that way you get access to the free trial. So you can get access for 7 days and get coached by me on this Tuesday, 7 p.m. UK time. I do all my coachings at 7 p.m. UK time on a Tuesday, and of course there's other coaches there and other masterclasses there as well. But anyway, let's go back into the video. Link is down below in the description. So the 4-2-2. Now, for this formation, compared to, I want to quickly say before I go into this a bit more, compared to the 4-4-2, which is a bit more aggressive, it doesn't have the CDMs, and people are saying they're struggling with defensively with the 4-4-2. This is more of an attacking formation. So I thought I'd go over the 4-2-2 one that you can use for the entire game. Now, I would say if you're going to use it for the entire game and you're not losing, you either want to use balanced or pressure on heavy touch. If you do struggle with pressing, I would recommend pressure on heavy touch, because that way your team only commit when there's a good chance to win the ball. Not randomly, they only really commit when there's a good chance to win the ball, and that is really the main benefit of it. So your players will only move forward if there's basically a massive heavy touch and there's a good chance you win the ball. So pressure on heavy touch is basically balanced, but your team press only when there's a good chance to win the ball, as opposed to press after possession loss, which is every 7 seconds. And if you lose the ball, you could get caught in behind. So with width, we left it on 50. To be honest, it's completely fine. The 4-2-2, contrary to belief, is basically a 4-4-2. And don't forget, this is defensive width anyway, so it's not really affecting your offensive play, so it's not going to make that much difference. People always get that confused. Remember, this is only when you don't have the ball and your opponent has the ball. And you do want to be wide. That way you want to be as wide as possible where you can press, but not too far wide where there's gaps in behind. So you want to make sure it's protection, but you don't want to be too wide. The depth, you can move this over to 55. There's not really an issue with that. Don't forget, we are going to play this in attacking formation, so we do want our 2 strikers and our cams to be a bit more forward. When we do have the ball, that way we can always press with them. And don't forget, those cams play as wingers, but I'll go over that in a second once I go over to the instructions. So you just want to be high up the pitch, that when we do press the ball, we can actually have a higher chance to win the ball further up the pitch, in that way getting a better chance for a counter attack. Now for the build-up play, I have left it on long ball. In comparison to slow build-up play in a 4-2-3-1, long ball is very good. Don't forget, you do lack that central cam. You do have basically a left mid and a right mid and 2 strikers, so you do lack that central cam. So long ball just means that players will be making runs in behind, perfect for making those players making runs in behind, like for example your cams, your strikers, etc. Don't forget, long ball is just the first 2/3 of the play. And then for chance creation, we've actually gone with balance. It actually works quite well with the 4-2-2, I find. Just because when you put forward runs, I think people are just running forward too much. You have no one in the middle. And I think with this formation in particular, balance just works perfectly well. For the width, we made it a bit wider this time compared to normal. We've gone with 65. You've seen this, that's quite common in my newer formations, just because when your opponent has a back line of 4, you basically want your attackers to line up with his ones. And let's say if someone is playing overload the ball side, it's not effective if you have all 4 players over here. So you want them to be spread out, that way there's going to be plays and angles to go down the wing, and of course if your 2 CDMs for stability. Players in the box, you can leave on whatever you want. I left it on default. We have instructions overriding this anyway, so I'd recommend leaving it on 3 anyway, and I'll get to the reasons why. Corners and free kicks on 1. So now we go to the instructions. So both strikers on stay forward, get it behind, and stay central. Again, stay central is important because you don't want them to be drifting wide and having your left mid or your right mid coming inside. You want them, of course, to be on get it behind, so they make those runs in and behind. Because don't forget, we have it on balanced in the final third. So because we have it on a final third, we are compensating inside the box by using getting behind or inside the final third. So you're basically combining balanced with getting behind just for the strikers. Stay forward as well, because having them on comeback and defense doesn't really do anything. They just sit there anyway. So you might as well allow them to be stay forward up front. That way you can make a quick pass them, driven pass, and do a quick 1-2 between them and bring the ball going forward. Now, for the lamb and the ram, we have them both on balanced. You can, if you want to, put them on both on comeback and defense, or if you find you are very, very fine with defending, you can put them on balance. You can always bring them back manually. This means that they're less defensive. Of course, they're more attacking, but they won't be coming back to help you defend. So do remember the transition. If they're on comeback and defense, the transition build-up play is actually better. So if you're not going to use comeback and defense, it may be worth even changing your custom tactics to balanced for the build-up play, because don't forget, if they're on comeback and defense, when you're defending, they're going to be coming back. That way, when you have the ball, when you start building up, when you win the ball back, they're going to be closer to you. In contrast, they're unbalanced or stay forward, they're going to be much more further away, and that is kind of the idea behind changing that. But it depends on your personal playstyle. I would say if you want to be attacking, put them both on balance. It's completely fine. Put them on get into the box for cross. Now, these two players are wingers. They're not central cams. You don't be playing someone like Bruno Fernandes, someone like KDB in these roles, because they're not actually cams. They actually play as left mids and right mids in the game, almost same to the 4-2-3-1, especially with that high width. So you want to be putting wingers in these roles, not players that are cams. I'm just putting these guys as placeholders to give you an example, so I remember. But make sure you don't make them, because everyone keeps making that mistake of playing, like, for example, cams there, Bruno, Bernardo Silva, these guys that you need someone that's fast, quick, and that's very good on the wing. Both CDMs on cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, cover center. As I mentioned, the 4-4-2 does not have that. That's why you do like that stability. But in all honesty, we have them both on balanced. Well, you can put them both on stable all the time. But if we don't have them on balance, like we have them on a 4-4-2. If you want to, you can do that. But I'll be honest, I think it's completely fine, especially if you've got these guys on balanced anyway. You don't want to be too attacking. If you really want to, you can put the most offensive player on balanced if you really want to. But I'll be honest, if you know how to use L1 triggers, you can trigger them forward manually. What I would say and what I'd recommend is, you do find this a bit too defensive, what I would say is put one of them on stay back while attacking, and put this guy on balanced, and put the other one on drop between defenders. Now what this will basically do, and if you put your left back and right back on join the attack, conservative, and overlap, the exact same as we do normally, what would happen is that this guy would stay put in midfield. He would drop in. You create basically a back three. The left back and right back will go forward, and then you can compress the left attacking mid and right attacking mid inwards. Another way of doing that is by putting free roam on these guys. Now, it doesn't work as you think, but if you try it, sometimes they go into these random positions that are good to occupy space. So if you like much more a possession type player, you can do this. And that way you can try to push them inwards, and that way you can make it very more attacking. You have three defenders, one centre mid, left mid and right mid going overlapping, your left attacking mid and right attacking mid, which are basically wingers, and your two strikers. So you can do that as well if you want to. I would say leave these guys unbalanced. What essentially happens is you end up having two left mids or two right mids, because don't forget, when the 4-4-2, the left attacking mid and right attacking mid play as wingers, so they're very wide. So when the left back and right back, when they do go forward, you end up going to have something like this. He goes here, he goes here, he goes here, and you're going to have two of these guys on the wing. So it's very good for doing those quick 1-2s and getting it behind to do those lofted passes inside the box. So that is one option that you do have. So do experiment with something like that. Otherwise, you can just go with the typical stay back while attacking with both left back and right back, and you can have both CDMs on cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, and cover center, the exact same usual. So that way you have free room to change whatever you want. Don't forget, of course, if you're going to attack left back and right back, don't forget to have at least some players there that are quite decent. Don't go with cheap left backs and right backs. But either way, it is completely fine. Anyway, those are the 4-2-2 tactics and instructions. You can use them from the first minute of the game up until the last. And it's a kind of replacement for the 4-4-2, but one foot that you can use for the entire game. Whereas this 4-4-2 was, as people were saying, a bit too aggressive, and it was mainly used for if you were losing 2-0 and you wanted to win the ball back. Whereas the other one is more conservative. You have two CDMs for protection and one to use for the rest of the game. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.